Okay, so today we will be taking you through our community grants workshop. We're going through this session today for anyone who was unable to attend our prior workshops. Before getting into our session today, I would like to begin by acknowledging the Taungurung people, the traditional custodians of the land in which we meet today, and pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. In today's session, we're going to be going through an introduction to the 2021 grant program. We'll take you through some of the changes that we've made to the program this year, as well as a deep dive into the 4 categories of the program and what some of the projects are that you can apply for under those projects. We'll also take you through the application process and where you can find information on our website. So in regards to the program itself, the purpose of this program is to provide our community groups an opportunity to apply for funding to undertake projects that complement our council plans, as well as the relevant action plans in your town. What we're looking for are projects that are going to improve our towns for our residents who live there, but also our visitors as well. And we're looking for projects that are going to promote community engagement, that is going to support gender equality and social inclusion, which is a big focus for our Shire at the moment, and also projects that contribute to building healthy and vibrant communities and projects that have a long-term benefits for the environment and a sustainable future. So if we look at who's eligible to apply, it is all of our not-for-profit community groups, organisations or clubs. You must be incorporated or have an auspice agreement in place. In regards to the auspice agreements, we do see a lot of our community groups that aren't incorporated working closely with their action groups to provide that auspice arrangement. So that's potentially an option that you could look into if you aren't incorporated. Also, if you've been successful in prior years in receiving funding from the Shire, whether that was via our RE3 COVID grants that we ran last year, or any grants under sponsorship and events, you do need to make sure that your acquittal form from that funding last year has been completed prior to 30th of June this year. And also in regards to the funding, it needs to be for new projects that are not yet underway. That's probably more relevant for some of the facility and infrastructure grants. So yeah, something to consider there as well. In regards to some of the key changes from prior years, what we've done is updated our weighted scorecard for the assessment process. So we wanted to be very transparent in regards to how we will be assessing all the applications that come through. So that's now been documented and added into the guidelines as well, which we'll take you through shortly. We've also excluded this year emergency services, educational institutions and religious organisations from being eligible to apply. And the main reason for that is that these organisations have their own funding streams. So they have funding that is available to them. And coming, we've got a very small pot for our community grants. So, we would prefer that those organisations are going to those larger bodies where they can get their funding from. We've also made some changes in regards to individual applications for the same project. So, for example, if you are a recreational reserve and you've got multiple users and you want to make some changes to your facilities, you can work together as a group and put in one application, but you wouldn't be able to apply for individually towards that same project. So we've just tightened that up a little bit based on some feedback from our program last year. In regards to our categories, so we have 4 key categories in the grants program, and they are active and healthy communities, arts and culture, environment and sustainability, and facilities and infrastructure. Each of those categories you can apply for projects up to the value of $5,000, and Craig will take you through those in a minute. In addition to those 4 categories, we also have small projects. So small projects run a little bit separately to the main program. And with small projects, it opens up after the main program closes, and it's basically an opportunity, if there are funds left over from the application process, the review process, if there's money left over, then it becomes available for small projects. So anyone can apply throughout the year if there's funds available for projects up to $1,000. So Craig, I might hand over to you to go through those categories in a little bit more detail.
Thank you, Kate. So yeah, let's start with active and healthy communities. So this category is for projects that develop the health and well-being of residents of the Strathbogie Shire. Examples of some activity-based projects under active and healthy communities would be a craft workshop, walking group, maybe a community engagement program, or formal and informal sports. The provision of essential equipment with the safety given a priority. So that may include things like a defibrillator or safety padding around goalposts, etc. And along with those examples, skill development also falls under this category. And this may include, training sessions for committees of management, leadership training, and initiatives that basically increase the efficiency of volunteers. We'll go down to arts and culture. So arts and culture is a category basically for initiatives that engage the broader community in creative activities. Some examples in this category include workshops, residencies, tours, maybe a masterclass or an exhibition. Basically, the projects that increase participation in the arts. Could also be a project that raises awareness around community issues or a project that aims to strengthen and develop community skills. But just on this category, we must point out that unlike previous rounds, that events need to go through the sponsorship program, so they're being transferred to sponsorship, and you can find details on the website under the community section under the sponsorship grant. So let's move down to environment and sustainability. So this category is for environmentally sustainable projects that improve the natural and built environment. So some examples here, maybe improving the energy efficiency of a community facility, a conservation and climate change project such as landscape restoration or revegetation, sustainable transport initiatives, a community garden, or an education workshop that leads to behavioural change around environment and sustainability. Facilities and infrastructure is our next category. So this category supports applications for minor capital purchases such as furniture and equipment, and small infrastructure projects such as the Cost Towards an All Abilities ramp, for example. Improvements to community facilities such as minor capital work projects that make improvements overall for the benefit of its users. And also this category could include maybe a children's playground or a recreational space improvement. So Kate ran over the small project grants, which is that last section there. And just to add on that, I'm sure you touched on it, Kate, but maximum $1,000, and they're assessed throughout that financial year on a monthly basis.
And they still come under those 4 key categories as well when you do apply for your small projects.
Perfect. Okay, after going through that, I might go straight into the website navigation, Kate?
Yep, that would be great.
Perfect. Okay. So I will take over my screen.
So just while Craig's getting that up as well, in regards to the application process, so I do really encourage you to read through the guidelines and have a chat to Craig or myself in regards to your application, so we can make sure that you are applying under the right category and that your project is relevant to the grants program as well.
Okay, so here we are on the Strathbogie Shire website. This is the main homepage. You need to go to the community section, and under community funding, you'll see 2 down, the community grants program. When we go in here, you'll notice that each grant category has its own section where you basically apply through each individual section. You'll also see here that you can get a copy here of the guidelines as well, which will be very handy to assist you through your application process. So we'll just go into active and healthy communities to show an example. Here's some information before you submit, but up the top here, some very handy features. Previewing the form is very handy to see what lies ahead. You can basically go through every page of the application to give you a good sense of what's required to put together your application. I'll just go back.
Just in regards to that as well. So yeah, really useful tool to be able to open that up and see what information you need to put in. So, you know, I recommend you have a look at that and have a look at the information that you need to gather. So things like your bank accounts, your ABN number, your insurance documentation, things like that that you need to have before you can proceed with the application. We also strongly recommend that you do take the time to get letters of support from the community in regards to your project. They really do help to strengthen your project when we do go through the assessment process. And one good thing about the application process, you can log in, you can start the process, and you can stop at any time. So you can save it, you can go and get more information, you can come back, or you might just need to stop halfway and have a break. That's fine. You don't need to do it all at once. You can always just go back and pick up where you left off.
Perfect. And you'll see just below the categories here is the link to the latest guidelines. A very handy document, nicely set out, gives you plenty of information regarding your application.
And just at the end there as well, it's got the evaluation process and what we'll be looking at, how we will be assessing all of the applications that come through and what some of those key things that we'll be looking for in your application.
Beautiful. I've stopped sharing there.
All right, we'll just jump back into the presentation. We are nearly done. I did just want to share with you the deadlines, which are now fast approaching. So the timeline, we have the applications closing on the 30th of June. That will then allow us July to assess all of the applications that have come through and put our recommendations to council, which will go up to council meeting on August the 17th. From there, once that decision has been made, we'll be looking to advise all the successful applicants no later than August the 27th, and then projects can essentially begin from there. It may seem like quite a long time frame to get through, but we do need to make sure that we have, you know, time to assess all of them that are coming through. And there's quite a lengthy process to be able to get it up to council as well. So council reports that need to be approved and go through multiple levels of approval within the organisation as well. So, you know, it does take a little bit of time, but we will advise you as soon as we can after that decision is made at council. And that completes our presentation for today. Thank you.
Thank you.